We are 2 months away from the opening of CFL training camps, and fans that I've heard from can't wait to get the 2025 season underway. Well, listen, June is going to be here before we know it, but in the meantime, as I've been doing since last November, let's continue to look back at the most significant developments in the history of the Hamilton Tiger Cats. In the previous installment of the fifth quarter show seasons, we learned that in 1974, the Ticats were no longer a community-owned team. The club was purchased that year by local businessman Michael DeGroot. But despite his best efforts to field a Grey Cup winning club, the Cats suffered their worst stretch of futility since the 1950 merger of the Tigers and the Wildcats, going 32-45-1 from 1973 to 77. As the losses piled up, the fan base demanded change. One of the most dramatic changes in the history of the franchise is featured here in episode 17 of the fifth quarter show seasons. The year is 1978. The first modern-day primetime soap opera hit our TV sets when Dallas debuted on CBS. The first GPS satellite was launched into space by the United States in 1978. The Unabomber's first attack was carried out at Northwestern University. Commonwealth Stadium opened in Edmonton in time for the city to host the Commonwealth Games. 1978 also marked a new era of Tiger Cats football. After only 3 seasons as owner of the franchise, Michael DeGroot sold the Ticats for $1.3 million. The buyer was Harold Ballard. Ballard owned Maple Leaf Gardens Limited, which consisted of the Toronto Maple Leafs, iconic Maple Leaf Gardens, and as of January 1978, the Hamilton Tiger Cats. In the early 1970s, Ballard had applied to the Canadian Football League to put a second franchise in Toronto, and he needed all 4 owners of the teams in the East Division, the Ticats, Argonauts, Rough Riders, and Alouettes, to agree. The problem for Ballard was that the owner of the Argos was his former partner with the Maple Leafs, who he stiffed, John W.H. Bassett, and Bassett voted against Ballard's plan. When Bassett put the Argos up for sale in 1974, Ballard offered him $3 million, but Bassett rejected that offer. Ballard then offered to buy the Ticats from DeGroot, but that too was rebuffed. But after 3 losing seasons in Hamilton, DeGroot sold the club to Ballard. Ballard's first season as owner was not without some drama, of course. New head coach Tom Dimitrov Sr. was fired after the team's first 5 games. Sitting at 1-3-1, John Payne was named the Cats' new head coach, and he guided the team to a 5-10-1 record and a third-place finish in the East, 3 points better than Toronto. But Hamilton's year ended in the East semifinal when they lost 35-20 against Montreal. That year also marked the start of Edmonton's unprecedented run of 5 straight Grey Cup victories. The 78 Ticats roster featured 23 rookies, including a 21-year-old American linebacker named Ben Zambiazzi, who was named a CFL All-Star. They also had a receiver from the Sioux named Rocky DiPietro. The club had 14 other CFL players who were new to Hamilton, one of whom was running back Neil Lumsden. Defensive lineman Mike Saples was the longest-serving Ticat at just 5 seasons. Star running back Jimmy Edwards, who rushed for a Ticats record 1,581 yards in 1977, managed only 840 yards in 1978, but he was still named an East Division All-Star. Hamilton went 6-10 in 1979 and then lost to Ottawa in the East semifinal. In 1980, the Ticats took a big leap when they made it to the Grey Cup. Hamilton won the East with an 8-7-1 record and topped Montreal in the division final before they ran into Warren Moon and the Eskimos, who had bashed the Ticats 48-10 for their 3rd consecutive championship. Hamilton hired Frank Kush in 1981 as head coach, and he, along with quarterback Tom Clements and Zambiazzi, led the team to a first-place finish at 11-4-1 and a new franchise record for points with 23. But after the Ticats lost to the Rough Riders in the East Final, Kush was given the boot in what turned out to be his only season of coaching in the Canadian Football League. 4 years into the Ballard era, the Tiger Cats were fielding a young roster that was coming off back-to-back first-place finishes and had one Grey Cup appearance under its belt. With a new head coach on the way, there was reason for optimism in Steel Town. But would the dream of ending Hamilton's longest title drought in decades become a reality anytime soon? Well, you'll find that out in the next edition of the Fifth Quarter Show Seasons, coming up on March the 18th. Episode 17 of Legends is on the way this week. And the only hint I'll give you is that he did it all. Click like, click subscribe, tell your friends about the Fifth Quarter Show. Please leave me a comment. I love reading your thoughts, your memories, and your feedback. Until next time, Oski Wee Wee.